For this episode, this individual who has a family of 12, 9 boys and 3 girls, he played high school football at Bolingbrook, Illinois, where he didn't get a scholarship to a Division I school, but later tried out at SIU University 3 times. After failing 2 times, he made it the 3rd time around. Finally, on the 3rd time, he made the team with his brother Ken, who was also a Super Bowl champion. Kenneth ended up going on to make it to the NFL, to where he won the Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks. And David worked his way to where he became a 6-figure stock investor. Ladies and gentlemen, this is episode 3, and this is Mastering Your Kingdom. Welcome to Master Your Kingdom podcast, where we are here to help you master your kingdom. Ladies and gentlemen, I have a very special man on the show today. He is ready to share a lot of gems, a former athlete that turned into a stock trader, and he's making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Man, I can't wait to share the information. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome David Boatright to the show. Nice to have you, David. Appreciate you for being on the show today, man.
Thank you, Marcus. I appreciate you, man. This is dope, man. You starting to well needed. You know, people need to hear about stories and you know, the back and forth, the rhetoric. You know, that's how people grow. So,
absolutely,
it's my pleasure.
Absolutely. Well, I'm excited, man. I always tell people I want to start them off at the beginning so we can paint the picture to know about the childhood. And I know your childhood is very special because yours is a little different. So tell me a little bit about your childhood and what that was like growing up.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I was born in the Chicago area, went to high school in Bolingbrook. I was raised in a family of 12 children.
Wow.
9 boys, 3 girls. So when you raise with boys like that, you really learn how to be competitive, so sports had to happen. So just and being in the team, I'm just comfortable being in the team.
Mm-hmm.
So you already know we played football together in high school.
Yep.
It's just that when all you know is sports, all you know is competition, all you know is football, and you go to college and that's they call it a student athlete, but I make this joke, it's really an athlete student.
Absolutely.
Because so you go there to play sports and school is second.
Yeah.
What I mean? So that's just honestly, that's the person I was. I was an athlete student for most of my life. And and I had to learn a lot of different things once football was taken away from me. And I'm sure we're gonna get to
absolutely. So that's why I want to start you there. I mean, that's a lot to unpack already, right?
Mm-hmm.
So 12 siblings, right? We said 1 of 12. So that's you already have a team right there. So getting started, what was that like growing up with, so many brothers? What was that competition like for you?
9 boys. I was the middle child, and my dad was 6'6". My mom is 5'10".
Okay.
So even though I'm 6 foot tall, I'm really short in my house.
Right.
So it made me a fighter, you know what I mean? So, I remember in high school, people have this joke, like when toast pops up out the toasters, does everybody fight for the toast? No, it wasn't like that. Yep. My mom and my dad, they worked their tails off, They worked their asses off to provide for our family. We never wanted for nothing. Mm-hmm. So I don't want people to get the wrong impression. We were always fed, always clothed. Mm-hmm. But it does, especially in my position when I was in the middle child. I got younger brothers, older brothers, younger sisters, older sisters. Like, it gives you a unique perspective. I always tell my girlfriend, I tell her, like, I was basically living in a social experiment. How does the same, you know what I mean, situation affect, the same situation can affect people differently. So I just had a unique perspective growing up with people, you know what I mean? I love to be around people because all I know is people.
Yeah.
Like, from the day I was born, I just know people. I see people everywhere.
So
that's like really the fabric of who I am, is I have a unique love for the differences of people, because I had to.
Absolutely. And that's crazy too, you know, growing up, you know, with 12 siblings, like I never thought about that perspective of you know, some people have to, they're only children, so they have to maneuver through their day to day and learn like those people skills. You had 11 other people to practice that, you know, from birth. So that's pretty cool, man, being able to see that. And I'm sure we're going to be able to see how that's beneficial and how you're able to use that now. But I want to switch gears a little bit and talk to me a little bit about, like, you know, we all went through that Trojans and that Pop Warner, but talk to me a little bit about high school. What was high school sports for you like? What did you play and what was that like for you?
Well, you know, I had older brothers. My brother Nate, my oldest brother, he was all conference, you know, all state, you know, football player. So he laid the foundation for us coming, for myself and my older brothers, a couple of my older brothers that play football. So I actually didn't even play my first 2 years in high school. My freshman, sophomore year, I played a little bit of my freshman year, but I got sick.
Yeah.
And then my sophomore year, I didn't play at all because of bad grades. So I didn't play my first 2 years. And also my uncle came from Bolingbrook as well. He's like a Bolingbrook legend. So I had, you know, a foundation at Bolingbrook.
Right. Okay.
All I knew was football, you know what I mean? That's the biggest thing. And once I became a junior, all I wanted to do, I'm sure you know this, you know what I mean? I done been on the battlefield with you. You know how it is ingrained into you. You know what I mean? Everybody thinks it's kind of comical when you think about it, because there's 100 people on the team. Let's say 70 people on the team. Everybody think they're going to the league.
Yep, absolutely.
At least if you started, you know what I mean? So it's 11 players on defense, 11 players on offense. It's probably 20 to 22 people think they're going to the NFL.
Yeah.
It's ludicrous when you think about it.
It's crazy.
I was one of those people, you know, especially when I started my senior year. You know what I mean? I did well. I was a good football player in high school. I wasn't the best, you know what I mean? But I was a good football player. I definitely thought more about myself than what the reality was, but that's okay. You're supposed to think that way.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So I started my senior year, and I actually tell you a funny story. I actually got recruited by Southern Illinois University, right?
Okay.
So I go down there to have a visit. This is after my senior year, after the football season. The people that recruited me, okay, they were, SIU at the time was in a transitional period.
Right.
They were going to hire a new coach, so they hired a new coach. The people that recruited me, they left. They were fired or replaced.
Right.
So I was already enrolled in the school. I didn't have a scholarship because I was talking to them about the scholarship. So I had to try out for the team. I don't think you know this.
This is all new to me. Yeah.
I tried out for SIU 3 times.
Oh wow. Okay.
I got cut because you got fall tryouts and you got winter tryouts, I believe.
Yep.
So the first year I was there, I was a freshman. I wasn't playing football. I got cut twice. Went into depression. You know what I mean? My freshman year. This is why I love my brother Ken so much.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know this. He transferred from a small school. He transferred to SIU. He's like, I'm gonna get you on that team.
Yeah. And so
the level of work ethic that he showed me, you know what I mean, how to really work hard, how to really push your limits. We both made the team together.
That's crazy. I didn't know that.
I know. A lot of people don't, because it's not something you want to tell people. I got cut twice. You don't want to say that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But that's a fact. You know what I mean? So
yeah. So let me ask you a question then. So, you know, that's really powerful. So after being cut not once, but the second time, what's going through your head? Right? What's going through your head, and what gave you that motivation to say, I'm going to try this again and see what's the worst that can happen?
Right. It's it's crazy that I'm telling you this because now I love conversation. That's how you open up different pathways. Like when I got cut twice, that's really I know we talked about before this podcast, we talked about how you got to struggle. Once you stop playing football, there's a struggle.
Yeah.
My first encounter with this was my freshman year.
Wow.
I was cut twice. I had gained the freshman 20. I was getting overweight, and I really didn't know what I was gonna do. I'm like, I'm not playing football. I might as well drop out of school. You know what I mean? I didn't really know where I was going. Yeah. I obviously wasn't that good of a football player. That's what I'm thinking. You know what I mean? That was my first encounter with football being taken away from me.
Wow. Okay.
I was already, that's so crazy.
Yeah.
I was already unstable. I didn't, you 18, you don't know that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Exactly.
So, wow.
And the crazy thing too, the crazy thing about it too is that, as you're going through this, you said something that I could relate to, right? That was the first time that football got taken away from you. And one of the things that like I try to show and as I talk to like multiple athletes, I realized that, we're kind of programming our mind to only be football players. So can you just imagine like playing from, of course you can imagine, right? From playing from like 6, 7 years old, all the way until 18, 19 years old. And then the next thing you know, football's taken away, like something's taken away. That's crazy. So so you obviously made the team, but how did you deal with being able to, like, once sports was done for you, how did you cope with that process?
Are you talking about like my freshman year or after college?
After college.
After college, man. What a rough time, man. I think the best analogy that I could give is like a divorce. You make, rappers always say this, I'm married to the game.
Yep.
You married to the game.
Yep.
This is what you do. You wake up, you watch. People don't understand how ingrained this is in your head. You watch sports, you know all the players, you play Madden. Okay.
So true. Yep. Yep.
When you got friends like me and you were cool. We talking about football. It's really around you 24/7. When you wake up, you eat, you live, and you drink football.
Yep. I'll even add to that too, and even say that, not only that, but you're identified as the football player of everybody else around you. So, when football is kind of taken away from you, or you walk away from that path, you kind of got this shame a little bit of like, having to explain to everybody like, it didn't work out for me, when you were supposed to make it to the league and do all of those cool things, right? So I don't know, did you experience something similar to that?
Oh, I think more so that's an internal battle. You know what I mean? Because your family gonna love you either way. Yeah. But in your head, like you said, you've been programmed, because when people see you, they see football player. So when I graduated college, this really was an eternal battle where it's like, I don't know who I am. People aren't identifying me how they should.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like nobody's, you're not getting no attention the way you used to get. Yeah. It's really you're just pushed into a different world, really. You know what I mean? Because it's like, you look around, you're like, I ain't got no practice today. I don't got no off season. Yep. Ain't no 8 weeks of training.
Yeah. Exactly.
Ain't no protein shakes. Oh, they not giving me. I don't get no free shirts no more. That's how you're not gonna send me my yearly hoodie.
Exactly. Well, I'll even take it a step further with that too, man. It's like, even from an academic perspective, right? Like, even people don't understand, even athletes have the best of the best when it comes to tutors. Like, some people have to pay for tutors, but like with athletics, after that's done, say you continue, or like we said, football's taken away, you almost don't know how to study anymore, because of the fact that you don't have those training facilities. You don't have always somebody available to ask you about math subjects and different types of like academic subjects. So I kind of want to just jump past that. And you said something where you said that you had to figure out who you were. How did you do that? Like, what was that process like for you?
Well, man, That's such a great question, man.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what I had to figure out is the biggest thing. And I talk about dealing with emotions and stuff on my Instagram page. I had to learn that it's okay to be sad.
Yeah.
Hey, look, something traumatic has happened to you.
Wow.
You're supposed to be sad.
Right.
You know, a lot of people try to preach positivity. I get it, but part of life is going through these different emotions.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Accepting it, because when you fighting it, that's how you prolong the healing process.
Absolutely.
It's like, look, I am hurt right now. My heart has been taken from me.
Mm-hmm.
I need to heal.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because a lot
mm-hmm.
of people just go to work like, damn, what's this pain? That pain is your dreams that didn't happen.
Wow. Got chills.
That's the pain.
Yep.
And you can't blame nobody. You can't do this. You gotta be like, look, this is why support is so good.
Mm-hmm.
Because if somebody was there to support you, like, look, I give you some time to figure out life. You know what I mean? You know, take this trip, or I got a room for you. Just figure it out. Give it a couple of years. Most people don't have this.
Mm-hmm.
This is why the healing process is prolonged, because it's really a simple process. It's just like when you cut yourself, you don't want to keep using that hand, or when you break your hand, they put a cast on it.
Right.
So when you hurt and wounded, somebody needs to cast you up.
Absolutely.
Has to wrap you up and let you heal. Because if they don't, if the world don't, it's gonna take, like it took me. It's gonna take me. I graduated when I was 24.
Mm-hmm.
I probably didn't begin to heal properly for 4 years.
Okay.
So it's another 4 years of my life where I'm just in pain. Like, what's going on?
Yep.
You know, I'm not successful.
Yep.
I'm supposed to be in the league. I wasn't healed. I didn't get time to heal. That the wound kept being opened up.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I think it just takes time, and you got to just sit with that pain, because you got to navigate that loss, because you basically lost a loved one.
Absolutely. Yep. You almost redefining yourself. And like you said, I'm just recapping what I heard here. Is just, you lost a loved one. You're redefining who you are, and you have to give yourself that time in order for your mind, your body, and your spirit, right, to heal. And kind of ask yourself, like you said, you know, who am I, right? Who am I? And that was one thing that I can share with me, was that I went through that same process where I had to understand, like, okay, sports is not a thing. And we actually can relate to this. I was actually watching people that I played with, came in with in the NFL, right? Like similarly, your brother, right? I watched, still to this day, one of the starting quarterbacks of the San Francisco 49ers play with Jimmy Garoppolo, right?
Yep.
And watching this dude, man, sign a $120 million contract. And I'm sitting in a cubicle, right? I'm like, something's not right, right?
Yeah.
So, but you have to go through that healing process and understand that your that man's story, maybe that's that man's story. Right. Yeah. But and his story is going to be totally different than my story, but my story is just as extravagant. I just have to figure out what it is, you know? So with that being said, man,
real quick. I want to say, I know you touched on he signed a $120 million deal. And I don't know if you got this question or not, but I want to say it before I forget it.
Yeah.
Like going back to the healing process, I had to identify, why is football so attractive to me?
Yeah. Ooh, that's a good one.
You know what I mean? It can't be, I know I like when I make a good play, I got an interception, I got a pass breakup. You know what I mean? It can't just be that, you know, because I can do that anywhere.
Yeah.
What is it? It's the glory.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the money.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. You got to look at why do you really want this? Because it can't be going to practice, putting on shoulder pads, getting concussions.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It can't just be that.
Yeah, exactly.
So so I'm like, I had to think and learn myself. Okay, I want the glory, I want the accolades for trying hard. I want to get paid well. You know what I mean? I want these different things. I want to be in shape. I can get these things. I don't just need football to get those qualities.
Exactly.
To get those things in life. Exactly. I can get those same things somewhere else without the concussions. I just had to, I was thinking about that. I had to say it.
It's true. And again, that's why I said these moments are magical, because of the fact that, like, that's the same thing I had to go through, right? It's like, we play defense, right? So we're constantly like hitting over and over and over again. And you go through, football has a 100% injury rate, right? You're going to get injured every single game. So it's like, what is it that I'm looking for? And that kind of goes back to what we were talking about, right? Of rediscovering who we are. And I realized like I had a very similar moment than that, or a very similar moment where I'll say that like I had to realize like, okay, if I'm trying to be wealthy or financially free, because that's my word. That's my word now. I'm not even focused on being rich. It's financially free. If I'm trying to be financially free, what can get me there? And then I realized like athletics, as I started to read and learn, I realized that athletes are actually employees. It's really the owners that are the bosses, and those are the people that we should be trying to be like, right? So that's why when I I've been watching you and talking and connecting with you, how did you get into that trading? Like, because that's what's so beautiful to me. A lot of people, especially a lot of African American people, don't know about stocks and trading or any of that stuff. So how did you get introduced to that?
Well, I'm gonna say two things. 45% of Americans don't have assets. Don't have things that they can make money with without working. 45%. Wow. So we don't even got to talk about athletes or minorities. Almost half of people don't invest. So that makes it pretty easy to, if you just, I say this all the time, you can't win at a game that you don't play. If you just play the game, you're probably gonna win. That's probably that's what I know. I just want to touch on something real quick about athletes and a lot of money. I'm sure you saw ESPN broke. I don't know if you saw the 30 for 30.
Yep, I saw that one.
80% of athletes go broke after 5 years after they play. No, it's 7.
Yeah.
7 years after they play, they go broke.
Yeah.
7 years.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
So financial literacy, understanding assets and different things that can make you money. I don't care how good you are at sports, you gotta learn this. So as far as with how I started to invest, I had, like I said, I had the blessing of being around a lot of different individuals early on in life. And you hear things, and it's so valuable to get information from someone that has already went through a part of your life that you're going through now.
Wow.
So I had that benefit with my older brother. My older brother Will, he's super, into finances. He's always been talking about stocks, always been talking about different ways to make money. You know what I mean? Financial freedom, like you saying. Similar build to how you're trying to approach life. He's kept talking to me about options.
Yeah. You're like,
options
what's the options? Yeah.
Options that. Yeah. You know what I mean? Options this. So I still was going up. At that time, before I even started trading, I still was like going up the corporate ladder, you know what I mean, getting promoted. So I had some extra money, so I gave it to him. He's like, oh, there's a big thing coming up. Let me put some money on some options. Right. And I'll give you a percentage back. I'm like, okay, this sounds like some type of scam. I'm like, but it's my brother.
Exactly.
So I give him a couple $100. He gives me back $3,500.
Wow.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
What's going on here? And that's when you go down that rabbit hole.
Yep.
That's when you start
that
playing
light
the game.
bulb. Yep, it's that light bulb that kind of lights up.
Yeah, and that's the moment. Really, Drake has this verse. He said, your best moment is when somebody turns on your song and be like, who is this?
Yeah.
That's your best moment. He said, you always gonna be looking for that moment.
Exactly.
And really, when you capture that drive, that's when it all changes. So when I'm like, okay, people making money doing this, a lot of money.
Right.
It's really, after that, it's just looking up. You already going to want to know. You're already going to want to see. I think people do need to see results. You know what I mean? Yeah. A lot of people get discouraged. I just so happen to be lucky to see results right away. Yeah. I still have my ups and downs. But once I saw that, him take a couple $100 into $3,500, I'm sold.
Yeah. So for the viewers, then just break down a little bit. What is options and what is options trading exactly?
So option, we all deal with different options in life.
Mm-hmm.
Let's say let's say we're in high school, you know what I mean, you're an all-star football player.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. You're going to have a lot of options to go to a lot of different schools.
Right.
All right. You can hold those options for as long as you want to, up until the day until you got to go to school. You know what I mean? So you can get all these options. You got all these different schools that you can go to, but you got to decide by August 1st or whatever.
Okay.
All right. Depending on which coach is hired.
Right.
That your choice will go up or down depending on which situation you want to go to. And then you eventually choose that option.
Right.
That's all. And I that was a football analogy.
That's a great analogy though. I'm following that along right step by step. Yeah.
Right. And that's all that an option is.
Mm-hmm.
I am going to hold a contract. I'm going to hold rights to 100 stocks. So one contract is 100 stocks. I'm going to hold the rights to 100 stocks.
Okay.
I haven't paid for them.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just holding the right to them. But you got to pay like a fee. You got to pay a small fee to hold the rights.
Okay, that's what I was going to
ask. Depending on how much, how valuable that contract is how big a fee it is.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So you hold the rights to 100 contracts, and you have an expiration date. Mm-hmm. So you have a date to choose if you want to buy these 100 shares or sell them. Okay. Options were actually created as a safe way to trade. Is it created as a way to decide if you want to invest in a company? So it was created with the mindset, okay, I want to invest. Say you got $10,000, you get a tax, whatever, you got $10,000. I want to make sure this company is good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the rights to $10,000 worth of this company.
Right.
I'm not paying the $10,000. I just paid for a contract that say I have the rights to this.
Okay.
So you only pay $200, but you have the rights to $10,000 worth of stock. So if the company is good at the price that you agreed upon, so if the company like, I actually like this company, you can buy those.
Wow. Okay.
But also you can sell the contract. So I hope I'm not getting too technical.
No. Yeah, follow.
So that's an analogy that when I was learning, this is the best analogy I can give you. Mm-hmm. So if you're trying to buy some shoes, okay?
Yep.
All right, the shoes cost $300.
Yep.
You don't have $300 right now. Mm-hmm. But you tell the guy, like, look, I'll give you $50 for them. Just hold these shoes for me.
Yep.
It's like layaway.
Yeah.
Hold these shoes for me. The guy like, okay, I'll hold them for you. Give me the $50. But you got 2 weeks to give me these, to give me the money for these shoes, or I'm gonna sell them. Okay. So boom, you got the contract. I got the rights to these shoes. You gave him $50. You still own another $250. But for some reason, LeBron likes the shoes. So LeBron wears the shoes on TV. Okay. Now those same $300 shoes, they worth $1,000. Wow. But they still yours. You got the contract. Okay. Now you can sell those shoes for $1,000, but you still owe that guy $250. You just made $700.
So this really sounds like just buying and flipping.
Yes.
Really thing. So like I got into like buying and flipping things where I would go to like the Goodwill or find like different things like that.
I remember those videos.
Exactly right. So like one time I found a printer, right, and I bought it for like $7. Pretty much. I dusted it off. It worked perfectly fine. Somebody just gave it away and I sold it for $50. So that sounds like it's the exact same thing. Pretty much is like, you know, and I didn't know that. You just taught me something, that it was built for the safe investors, because I think that's something that a lot of people think about the stock market, is that it's so risky. So would you recommend options being something?
After my experience with trading options, there's a few ways you can do it, and people have to do their own research as well. You know what I mean? My way that I want to do it now is, at the end of the day, it's the number one question you want to ask yourself when you invest in any company is, if this company increased their price, would you pay more for their product or service?
Okay.
If the answer is yes, you can buy a long contract, buy and hold you can buy a 2-year contract and just wait for this company to keep going up, and then you'll sell the rights to the contract. You can do that. The other way, that's the safest way. That's the way that I want to do it now. The other way is it's like they call it scalping. This is probably what a lot of people see, and this way is riskier. You know, you're just basically trying to make money off the oscillations, off the up and down movement of the stock market. So you can see yourself making $500. You can see yourself lose $500 in minutes.
Okay.
You know, everybody's not comfortable with that.
And talk to me a little bit about, because you know everybody likes to hear about the wow factor, right? People, of course, they want to hear about, you know, you said 3,500, but say that for a person that really wants to go 100% in like you're doing, what is this something that they can quit their job for? Is this something that they can that can potentially take care of them and their family? Like, talk to me a little bit about that.
Oh, 100%. 100%. This is something that anybody can really do if they have the heart for it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So you're gonna have to. I would say this. I had a couple of good trades. You know, a couple of anomalies.
Yep.
That set me up to be able to quit my job.
Okay.
And I'm not saying that everybody's going to be able to do that.
Right.
But anybody can, like I said, 45% of Americans don't have assets.
Yeah.
So anybody can, it's like you gotta crawl before you can walk. So instead of worrying about if you can sprint or you can make more money than me, just get in the game and then you can figure out how you want to move around it. You can figure out if this is something that you want to do. Because the money is there. Anybody can transition over into this if that's what if they can see themselves doing it long term. Right. I could change my profession right now if I wanted to. Right now, I just okay, I figured this out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This is something that I can do because I've made money. I've proven that it can be done. That doesn't mean that it took me, you know, a couple of years to do it, because I think it's really simple. That doesn't mean that somebody else doesn't think it's simple.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I did have, back to your question, I did have, I don't know, blessings. I had a couple of breaks, you know what I mean, where I was able to make $50,000 in a week.
Wow.
In a week.
Wow.
Unbelievable. It's unbelievable money. And some of the people that I watch, people do this. People can make this money. It's like you really start to see, okay, because like we said with the football thing, it's like you see, okay, somebody got $100,000 or $500,000 signing bonus. You're like, man, how can I ever make money like that?
Exactly.
But if I make a trade, I'm like, hold on, I made $50K.
Yeah.
Hey, look, I don't have a signing bonus for $500,000, but I'll take $50K in a week.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's really up to the person on how big a risk they want to take. Because you can do this the safe way. That doesn't mean that you're gonna make 50 grand. So I took some risk.
Yeah. I'm
not gonna act like I didn't take risk. You know what I mean? I happened to just succeed. But if someone didn't want to take a lot of risk, like I'll give you a great example. Tax season. It's tax season right now. You know, if somebody has the luxury of having a tax return, they can take a portion of that money and place it on a trade.
Absolutely.
Just start playing the game and see, okay, how does this work? Because you can watch as many videos as you want. You gotta take a step and really see how the game works.
Absolutely.
Because once you make the first trade, and I would encourage everybody to hone your craft, understand what you're doing. I'm not encouraging anybody to just throw money. People call it YOLO. I'm not a YOLO person.
Right.
I did research. I did what my due diligence is, as they call it in the trading world. I research companies. I understand trading terminology. I understand trading strategies. Like, I'm not just blindly throwing money at the market. So I'm not encouraging that. But what I'm saying is this: everybody has an Apple phone.
Mm-hmm.
I'll give you a simple equation. It's
Yep.
really this simple. Everybody has an Apple phone. Okay. Apple usually has a release date.
Mm-hmm.
Pull up a chart. Go back and look at the last 7 years. How did Apple stock do around this time each year?
Mm-hmm.
You can determine, okay, it's usually up 10%. Hey, when the release date comes, maybe you should put a little money on Apple or do a
Yeah.
trade and
Yeah.
see if it works. And I'll say this too, because I had this argument with someone. It was like, oh, the stock market's like betting.
Yeah.
It's like betting. I
Yeah.
give somebody the best example I could give them. If I place a trade, if I place a bet, this
Mm-hmm.
team gonna win, this team doesn't win. If
Mm-hmm.
I lose that bet, I have lost all my money.
Yep. Yep.
I'm not getting none of it back.
Mm-hmm.
But if I place a trade
Mm-hmm.
on a stock to go up or down, let's say I place a trade on a stock to go up and it starts going down, I can cut it. I can cut my losses.
Oh, right
I
away.
can obtain some of my money back. It will always be better than gambling. It's not a gamble. It's a calculated guess.
Absolutely.
Not a gamble.
And I do real estate and also business, just business also. And in order to make money, you have to take a risk. At the end of the day, with real estate, it's been around for a while, but you don't know who you're putting into your property, right? You don't know, if the moment that you buy that rental, if it's going to have asbestos, or, if the roof needs something, the next thing you know, you're $100,000 in, and, everything that you do, no matter what form it is, it's going to be some type of risk. So I'm glad you clarified that up. So my question now is, what would you do or what would you recommend for those beginning people who are looking to get started, right? So let's just say that sports or athlete or whoever it is, right? Whomever watches this, what would you recommend that they research in order to get started that really helped you out?
The biggest thing is successful people leave clues. So everybody talks about Warren Buffett. Just go listen to what he has to say about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Watch a YouTube video. And I think what's the biggest thing is a lot of people get intimidated when they learn a new skill or when they're entering into a new field or entering into a new space of life. And I understand. And what people tend to do, myself included, is you bite off more than you can chew.
Right.
Just watch a video. You know what I mean? Watch stock trading 101. Just watch it. It's 20 minutes. Just get your foot wet.
Yep.
Dedicate a certain amount of time to learning about this. You know what I mean? When the kids are asleep, let me watch this video. I know David been talking about it. Marcus Lee been talking about it. Let me just see what a stock is.
Right.
Let me just see what an options trade is. You can get a fake account. I would encourage, not a fake account, a paper trading account. Because I would encourage everybody to get a paper trading account. I wish I would have did that. I would have saved a lot of money. But you can get a paper trading account. All right. And I think the step one is learn what the stock market is. Of course, it's stock market 101. And step two, which I wish that I would have learned when I was 18, is invest in an ETF,
right?
An index fund. You're just buying a piece of the market. So as America grows, your money will grow.
I saw this crazy thing. I want to say it was Tony Robinson or somebody, right? They were talking about how ETFs, the return on your investment is 10% every year over year, and the stock market has never let anybody down. And he used the term where he said that if you, I'm going to botch it, but it's something along the lines where if you invest $300 a month, if you're at the age of, I want to say 18, he said by the age of, like, I think it was like 10 years or something, he said that money could turn into $1 million or a little $1.8 million, something along those lines. And it's true. People don't understand, you know what I mean? Like people don't understand the power of compounding interest.
Yeah.
And I do like a lot of, like, on my socials and stuff, like I share like small facts, but if we just understood the power of how small money turns into big money.
Yeah.
I think people think that, when people have money or like trading, or just like, even when you were talking about that knowledge base of what you need to do to get started, right? With that, it's like, you don't necessarily need to know how to build a full brick wall. You just need to know how to lay down one stone. You know what I mean? And then brick by brick by brick, and then eventually you got a brick wall, you know? So it's like the same thing with money. It's like start with, I love that you said, you know, I didn't even know that you could start a paper account, but start playing around with fake money and then put your money and eventually and watch where you will be in a year from now, you know? So it's crazy, man. But what are some books? Now I know we talked about this, but so this doesn't even have to be, you know, stock. Like, what are some books for just individuals that's looking to just really get into, just help themselves, or, you know, understand money better, or anything that helps you out? What would you recommend when it comes to like reading? Because readers are leaders are readers, right? So we all know that.
Absolutely. And I've always been a reader. You know what I mean? I don't think it's like my mind. That's how my mind works. I look at information, I pick up on it. Like, that's how I learn. So my favorite book, and I can only speak because I'm a male. I can't speak to what can help a woman. So my favorite book that I read that changed my life was The Way of the Superior Man by David Deal.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Because we all hear about all these different things about people that have money and how some rich people aren't happy. You know what I mean? So it's not all about money.
Right.
It just, life is not all about money. It's a part. Money is a part of life. So The Way of the Superior Man by David Deal, this is one of my favorite books because it just taught you how to be you in a room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I'm sitting here looking at you, talking to you, you all dapper, you know what I mean? You got your Marcus Lee got his thing going on, you know what I mean? He got his look going. So it's like, I got to learn how to be David around anybody.
Yeah.
I got to learn who I am. I got to learn the things that make me tick. I got to learn what makes me angry, what makes me sad. That way I can transport this person in any room and I can be accountable. You know what I mean? I can be accountable for who I am. I always say this, it's like, who are you when nobody's looking? Who are you when nobody's looking? And that book helped me discover who I am. You know what I mean? Because you got to understand, when you don't think nobody's looking, you got to remember, you're still looking. You're still watching you. So you got to be able, I know Tupac said this. He said, I can look in the mirror and see my soul. So you got to be able to look. You got to be able to be with yourself in the room and be happy with that. Like, I think I like David.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think I like this person.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that book helped me, because you're a man first. You know this. You're a man first before the money. You know what I mean? Before your girl, before you got to understand you are with you. So you got to be right within yourself. It's inside out. It's how you win a championship in basketball. You throw the ball inside, then throw it out. It's inside out. It's how you win.
Right.
So that's my favorite book. That's my go-to book for any man struggling, any man that needs help, any man that you know really is like, man, I don't really know what to do.
Yeah.
That book's gonna help you. And my favorite chapter, the most powerful chapter that I read was Act Like Your Father is Dead. I'm like, it was a shocking chapter.
Yeah.
Like, just hearing that, I'm like, I don't want my father to be dead. Let me just tell you, like, look, you're your own man. You gotta stand on your own 10 toes. You can't worry about nobody else. You gotta be able to be cool with yourself.
Right.
That's my favorite book.
Love that. Well, I'm gonna wrap it up with this last question here, and I just want you to share with the folks that's listening, you know, where could they go to reach out to you for either advice or, you know, what's your socials that you have that they can go ahead and follow you. That way they can continue to start their stock journey.
Yeah, I got an Instagram page, DBX444. It's DBX444, no spaces. And I got as my bio on there, you know, I'm an investor, I'm a father, I'm a motivator, man. You know what I mean? That's who I am. I want people to be inspired by the way that I live, because I am who I am, even when you're not looking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if there's any questions, people always, when I post my wins on the stock market, people always ask me, oh, how do you do this? I'm like, look, I know I said I got a course coming. I know I've been dragging my feet on that. But any questions, I'm always willing to answer them. I'll give them lengthy responses.
Yeah.
So I'm always willing to share knowledge with anybody, man.
Appreciate it. Well, David, appreciate you having on the show, man. For the viewers that's listening, I hope you enjoyed this treat as much as I did. And I want to thank everybody for taking it. This is Master Your Kingdom, and I want you to have a great day. Peace.